So today we are talking about the TBC Classic Deluxe Edition, and the other microtransactions and just in general, ways that Blizzard are planning to exploit their community for revenue through Classic TBC. Actually, I shouldn't say exploit because all of this is completely optional, and you will 100% be able to play the Burning Crusade for free, but I want to talk about these microtransactions, or I guess at this point I should say macro transactions, because these transactions aren't exactly micro. So just to bring you guys up to speed here, the Classic TBC Deluxe Edition costs $69.99 the Dark Portal Pass, or in other words the level 58 boost, costs you $39.99 and the Classic Era Character Cloning Service will cost $35. So in yesterday's video I covered the basics of what's happening here, and today I want to give my opinions on all of this, and just in general have a discussion about the prices, because I think this is absolutely ridiculous. So let's start off with the TBC Classic Deluxe Edition. This is probably the only purchase I'm somewhat fine with the price of, because you're pretty much getting everything except the character cloning, all bundled together. You are getting 2 mounts, one for retail and one for classic, you are getting the level 58 boost, and you're also getting a couple of other cosmetic items. On top of that, you're also getting a month of game time. I won't say that I'm happy about the price, because in general I think in-game mounts are overpriced, because valuing each mount cosmetic at $25 means 2 mounts equals the price of an entire game, and I don't know about you, but I would rather have a new game or a new expansion than 2 stupid mounts. One point here is that you are getting a mount for classic and a mount for retail, and this is where I think Blizzard is making a big mistake. First of all, not everyone plays retail, some people only play classic, so they are not really getting the same value as someone who actively plays both versions. Secondly, they missed the perfect opportunity to convert classic players into retail players, or at least make classic players at least try out retail, since they didn't throw Shadowlands into the bundle. If they threw Shadowlands expansion into the bundle, players would log into retail to collect their free mount, and some of those players might end up testing out a thing or two, and some of those players could become regular players in that version of the game. Additionally, they could for example tie the Shadowlands version of the mount to a small quest line like they did for the Shadowlands Collector's Edition mount, so they had to play retail for at least a little bit in order to get their mount, and the fact that they did neither of these things is a huge missed opportunity, if you ask me. Next up, let's talk about the boost, because out of all of the transactions, this is the one I think is too cheap. In retail, a level boost costs you $60, and that only saves you about 24 to 48 hours of leveling time. In Classic WoW, even with the reduced experience you need to level in the TBC pre-patch, going from level 1 to 58 will take the average player a lot more time than 24 to 48 hours, and still the boost is cheaper than a retail boost. In my opinion, this absolutely makes no sense, and I would rather see a more expensive boost, so people would at least think twice before purchasing it, including bots as well. With a $40 boost, a lot more botters will be willing to buy the boost, and a lot more players will also be willing to buy the boost. It's great for business, sure, but I don't like it, and it just doesn't make any sense since leveling in Classic takes longer than leveling in retail, yet the Classic level boost is cheaper than the retail level boost. No idea what they're thinking here, other than trying to make literally everyone buy the boost, so they can squeeze $40 out of every active player. So this brings me to the Classic Era Character Cloning Service. This is priced at $35. Can someone please tell me how in the flying F they came to this price? In what possible universe should a cloning service be priced only $5 under the level 58 boost? And in what possible universe should a cloning service cost more than the race change or faction change? I honestly just don't see it, and in this case I really believe they are playing on nostalgia and banking on people being so emotionally attached to their character that they are willing to pay anything. And to be honest, paying $35 is not a lot to immortalize a character that you have probably spent thousands of hours on by this point, but still, it's absolutely unbelievable if you ask me. And this is per character, so if you have multiple characters, in Classic WoW that you want to immortalize and also bring into Classic TBC, you will have to pay $35 per character. So let's say you have 10 characters, just to be a bit extreme, that is $350. Just to put this into perspective, if you have one main from Classic WoW that you want to still have on a Classic Era server, while also progressing that same character into TBC, and you want the TBC Classic Deluxe Edition for the mount, game time and the level boost, that's gonna cost you $105. That is more than most games out there, even premium game titles, and it's more than most Kickstarter backups that are always highly priced. And the more I talk about this, the more it starts reminding me of games like Arcade that offers founders packs, where they give people early access and fresh starts that you literally have to pay for, and the more you pay, the earlier you could access that content. I don't think WoW would ever get to that point, but I bring this up because Arcade is a game that has been on a downtrend in terms of how many monthly active users it has, yet before the recent crash, the developers still claimed record high profits because they kept milking the remaining player base for every penny they got until they milked them so much that the game itself completely crashed because it became pay to win, pay to advance, pay to fresh start, and even paying for earlier access to newer realms and new expansions. And after listening to the recent earnings report from Blizzard, this is also what they are doing. They have lost 30% of their players, yet their revenue is up, and they think they are on a good path because of it, but at some point, if you milk a cow too much, it will kick you in the face. And while I'm out here ranting, I will mention one major reason I think for why Blizzard is pushing Classic TBC on June 1st instead of waiting a couple of weeks, which could give us a 4 to 6 weeks pre-patch, which I think a lot of people would want, and that is the fact that Ashes of Creation are having their no NDA alpha in the month of June, and that also starts on June 1st. Pretty much what that means is that content creators as well as people that paid for alpha access can actually use gameplay footage from that alpha and make videos or even stream that content. The reason I bring this up is because Blizzard has always tried to crash other MMO launches because they look at them as competition. If Final Fantasy launches an expansion during downtime in World of Warcraft, some WoW players might be so bored of WoW that they try out this new Final Fantasy expansion, and some people might like that game more and end up never returning to WoW. So Blizzard has always tried to come out with updates around the time that other MMO companies have their updates, and Ashes of Creation as well as New World are two major MMO titles that Blizzard will do their best to compete with, and this is definitely one way to do exactly that. And I mean, hey, if you really don't believe that theory, tell me why Blizzard is launching TBC on June 1st with such a short notice, as well as giving us a pre-patch on May 18th, with again such a short notice, when they could easily push the TBC release until the middle of June instead. And you know what, I think that's pretty much the video. I just wanted to talk about these things and express my opinions on it, and then you can let me know how much I suck in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, remember to hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to the channel for more TBC content. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk, and I'll see you again very soon.